If you would ever like to listen to Writing with Eirian episodes while you are doing dishes, picking up dog poop, or driving to work, head over to eirianwrites.com/writing. That's EIRIAN.com/WRITING to stream this episode and all the other Writing with Eirian episodes in audio format. Greetings and salutations, starshine. Welcome, misfits, sugar plums, and goddesses alike. Welcome back to Writing with Eiri, my podcast dedicated to teaching you the ins and outs of self-publishing so that you and I can become successful self-published authors together. In today's episode, I have some very important mindset tips to share with you because, after all, I am a certified mindset coach. So, we're going to hear a quick word from our sponsor and then we're going to dive right in. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you. Today's episode is brought to you by Eirian Writes Studios and EirianWrites.com. EirianWrites.com is what I like to call the mothership. There you will find all of the Eirian Writes books, both paperback and ebooks, as well as Eirian Writes wearables that you won't find anywhere else. Check out the recently launched pink candy cover artwork collection, and don't forget to sign up for the newsletter to find out when the next collection launches. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get back to today's episode. So, in my writing career, I have notoriously not invested in advertisements. And what I've gotten for not investing in advertisements is a whole lot of slow, organic traffic, which is amazing. It is beautiful that anybody has downloaded my books in the past few years without any kind of extra promotion. But let me just tell you, the writing industry and the fiction field of it is completely oversaturated with authors. That being said, you just have to be a good author to stand out. There's been a lot of hype writing, I'm just gonna call it. Like, after the pandemic, there was a ton of like pandemic fiction, and there's always going to be those people using AI and like ghostwriters to turn out just crappy novels and crappy novellas to turn a quick buck. But I've been listening to a lot of the self-publishing formula with Mark Dawson and James Blatch. And the big thing that they've always said, and all of their interviewees have always said, is the readers are going to see those writers for what they are. They're going to lose interest, and they're going to notice the cream of the crop. So, first mindset tip of this episode is to just make sure your writing is good, focus on you, and not do anything for a quick buck. Because anything for a quick buck inherently, just by the name of it even, is not set up for longevity. And you want to be set up for longevity. You want to be series writing. You want to be looking at this as a 20 plus year career and not something you're just doing in the moment to try and turn a quick buck. Facebook advertisements and Amazon ads are crazy hard to pull off successfully. You have to know a whole lot. In the self-publishing field of things, you are running your own business, you are self-employed, and in that comes great responsibility. You have to be your marketeer, you have to, be able to hire editors and all this other stuff. So, advertising is its own wheelhouse in and of itself, and I've never been good at it. Obviously, I talk about my books on social media. Like, legitimately, that's the only reason why I have an Instagram, is to promote my writing and what I do. But other than that, like, I don't do Facebook ads, I don't do Amazon ads. Draft to Digital is actually really amazing in that they don't have an ad platform yet. And I kind of like that a lot, because then it's not like, oh, the people who are paying for ad space get pushed through their algorithm. I feel like the Draft to Digital space is a lot more of a level playing field. And so there is a service that every author should be aware of called Booksy, which is a newsletter service where you buy a promotional spot to be emailed out to the corresponding newsletter. So if you're like a romance author, you get sent to their massive romance list. If you're a spec lit author like I am, you get sent to their massive spec lit reader list. And the prices vary based on how big that reader list is. So some of them are like close to $200 spots, some of them are only $100 because the reader list is half, but it invests. You are investing in being seen by 500,000 people who will then possibly download your book while it's either free or at a significant discount. And so I heard about Booksy through Self-Publishing Formula, and since the episode that I listened to, which was recorded like in 2017 or something, I'm starting back at the beginning because I'm very thorough and I take this super seriously. They've added services such as being able to invest in a 5-day Facebook ad campaign. And so for the month of June, I had invested in a Booksy promo and a Facebook ad campaign spot. There was some technical difficulties, so my Booksy newsletter spot has not gone out yet. We had to reschedule that. But the Facebook ad campaign was highly successful. And so the mindset behind calling it highly successful is from the fact that you're not investing $100. Actually, I think it was $150 for the Facebook ads. Very cheap though, very affordable. You're investing $150 not to get revenue return per se. You are investing $150 to get in front of readers. When I did the math, I thought that I had spent $100, got 120 readers, which is a pretty good return on investment. That's like 80 cents per reader. I realize now that I actually paid a little more than $1 per reader. Okay, so I just redid the math. At $100, it would have been closer to like 80 cents per reader, and $150, I don't know if I did like my math wrong, but it's still like 82% per reader. So I still did pretty freaking good in my opinion. Oh no, I did do that math wrong. Hold on. Okay, this makes way more sense. So for $150 for 5 days of Facebook ads, I paid 120 cents. I mean, yeah, it was 120 cents. I paid $1.20 per reader who downloaded a book. I have not seen the paperback numbers yet. Paperback numbers come out at the top of every month. So even though the Facebook ad campaign ran at the beginning of June, I still won't see the paperback numbers until the beginning of July. So for all I know, it was 123 downloads and then like 300 paperback book purchases. Who knows? We're going to find out in July, and I will report back. But the big thing is that for $150, the same amount of people downloaded one book in 5 days as downloaded my entire catalog of books in the past 3 years. When I posted about this on Instagram, I didn't even think to mention that it was one title versus 7 titles, or 6 titles. So in the past 3 years, I've only sold 120-ish books through the draft to digital space, and at the beginning of June of this year, I sold 123 copies of Breakout alone in 5 days. Now, when you take a step back and you can think about all the ways you can be negative and the way that your shadow side wants to show up, you could look at 123 downloads and think like, oh man, this is not anything. Especially considering that the first day of the promo, the book was free, and then every day after that, the book was 99 cents. So as of right now, as of me recording this episode, there's only $11 recorded in my dashboard. So 123 downloads, $11 made. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But that's 123 people who wouldn't have necessarily seen my book because I made that investment. And then when you're an author and you invest in an ad spot, you're not looking for a return on investment in regards to money right off the bat. Sure, when you're investing thousands of dollars into ads, you should be seeing some of that money back because, let's face it, your money should be making you business, or your business should be making you money. But when you're first starting out, you haven't really gained a huge readership. I have a newsletter following of like 150 people or something like that. It used to be bigger, but I went through and I used to cut out the people who weren't opening emails to keep my list smaller because I was not in a position to start purchasing for newsletter services. So the same amount of people that I have in my newsletter already just downloaded my book within the first 5 days of the month of June, and those are not people who are signed up for my newsletter. Those are people who have never heard of Eirian, Naomi Omid, or the Pink Candy Project before. When you're an author, building a newsletter is crucial, and as a business person, it's also crucial to remind your customers, regardless of what you're doing, that your product deserves a review. This is all information that I gathered from the self-publishing formula. I've been doing a lot of research for us to be able to succeed at this. So before I invested in the Booksy spot and the Facebook ad campaign, I went through all of my titles and I added 2 pages at the back. I added a "please review this book, it means so much to me that you read it" page, and I included a sign up to my newsletter page. So now you take a step back and you think about the fact that I invested $150 to gain 123 new readers for the Pink Candy Project alone. That's 123 people who have the potential to leave reviews. That's 123 people who have the potential to sign up to the newsletter. That's 123 people who have the potential to buy more books. That's why you gotta start out with more than one title, or at least wait to invest in ads until you have multiple titles. Because when 123 people download your book, maybe only half of them are retained. I would like to see 100% retention, obviously. That's what we're all working towards, is 100% reader retention. But I mean, not even like Dean Koontz and Stephen King and J.K. Rowling have 100% reader retention. So if 123 people download your book and say 50 to 75% of them are retained as readers for life, then that means at least 60 people will buy at least 2 or 3 more books. They will wait for more books to come out. They will become ambassadors and start telling their friends about these books. It is a long game plan. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. For $150 to gain the same amount of readers for one book as I had for my whole catalog over the past few years is insane. For the month of July, I'm doing a Smashwords promotion, but anytime I do a Smashwords promotion, I just put my book at the same price on all platforms because I know that very few people probably know what Smashwords is. I don't. So I figured why have it only a promotional price on one platform when it could be, 50% off on all platforms. So for the month of July, everything is 50% off. And then, as an author, it's also important to have at least, the first book in your series or something like that as a free offering. And so, this is something I didn't realize until this year also, is that it's really important to have a perma-free book so that people are downloading the first in your series, they read, they get hooked, they leave a review, they sign up to your newsletter, they start buying. And since running the 5-day Facebook ad promotion, I've also seen an uptick in my freebie downloads as well. So for the entire month as of right now, which is June 26th as of me recording, there have been 136 downloads this month. 123 of those were the Pink Candy Project. 4 of them were Did You Hear About the Prince Party, and 9 of them were the Goddess Frame of Mind handbook. So I'm very pleased with what's going on right now, and you just have to remember it's all about perspective. You could look at 136 downloads and get depressed and say oh man, I thought that I was going to be a millionaire. Well, first of all, something was probably wrong with my ad copy for me to be paying $1.20 per reader. That's a pretty good conversion, but you still want to see your conversion under $1 per reader. So something I did was off there. Also, being a brand new author, I don't know if the traction is different versus somebody that people are really familiar with. But I think it went really well for a first run, and I'm excited to report back for next month. I'm excited to report back when I have my Booksy promotion go out in August, because it's really important to understand that there's 2 pieces to building this rocket ship, okay? You have to build the rocket ship, and then you also have to ignite the engine, and buying ads is igniting the engine. So I need to take a step back and listen to my own advice and write more. We are going to be going to monthly, possibly twice monthly, because let's face it, I'm a workaholic, episodes, but definitely monthly episodes consistently. So this episode is going to be the last episode for the month of June, and then I'll have another one for you in July, another one in August. If I find myself needing to produce more content because I'm bored or have a wild hair, then you'll get bonus episodes. But it's really silly for me to sit here and preach to unplug and write when I have not been doing that myself. So in the next episode, I'll be talking about the projects that I am working on. Eventually we will dive into the newsletter building type of stuff. But the biggest thing in this episode for your newsletter building type of stuff is to leave a link in the back of the book to sign up to a mailing list. Although I guess that information isn't really super helpful if you don't have a mailing list yet. So I appreciate you for being here, sweetheart. You are incredible. Now let's go write and conquer the world. Ciao. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Writing with Eirian. As a token of my appreciation, I would like to personally invite you to join the Eirian Writes Forum. I have built a place for us to talk, chill, and network that is totally decentralized. No Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, just an old school forum for you to chat and congregate at like the early 2000s. Head over to eirianwrites.com/forum. That's EIRIANWRITES.com /FORUM to join today.